area. I greet una all correct, sir. I salute una too much. Yeah. Una too much. Una thank you so into this channel, Bod TV, but where they analyze the trends, especially for our politics, the way it affects you, it affects me. Now, what we do mostly for this channel now to bring all the summary of everything we be say they happen for this government, for around and every news we be say, man, it consign us. We will bring them small. Maybe say una understand. They don't hold meeting concerning the strike where they want to do on Wednesday. How that strike will be, nobody know. But they don't hold this meeting. And the NLC chairman say, man, they satisfied with the meeting. I go let the video play. Make una watch him. Make una see watch the outcome of the meeting. Which they say affect workers. How it affect you, how it affect me, how it affect our children, how it affect education, how it affect everything. Not be one thing. Say, not be this thing I Tinubu for tackle first before he can announce the removal of the subsidy. If I look all these things, at least he don't be old man for politics. Not be today in start. These things will be saying no, they okay. So you can't give obedience, and articulate, the more strength to talk, say, Tinubu government. I'm going to watch the video, so I'm a big Bod TV boy. Bye-bye.
Okay, gentlemen. Well, as you all know, we had this reconvened meeting today. As we promised you a few days ago, after we had the initial meeting with the labor movement, we said we were going to reconvene today to keep the engagement on in order to diffuse the tension in the land as a result of the withdrawal of subsidy, which is a reality. Now, we are very happy to announce to Nigerians that this engagement has been very productive. The TUC that attended today's meeting presented a list of demands, and those demands we have studied and we are going to present to Mr. President for his consideration. But those demands, we can announce to Nigerians that a lot of the items on the list are not impracticable. What we need to do is to study the numbers very well, and then we have asked the TUC to also give us a leeway to consult, very exhaustively and come back on Tuesday, reconvene on Tuesday to actually look at the numbers, the viability, practicability of all the items that have been presented to us. Now, most important, top priority on the list, which the government is also looking at very seriously, and the president has announced before, is the issue of the minimum wage, which the labor movement has demanded as a consequence of these removal of the consequential impact of the removal of subsidy. So government is looking at that, and Mr. President is most likely going to constitute a tripartite committee. That is the committee of federal government and including the states, then the organized labor on the other part, and the private sector. Now, this is a tripartite arrangement. It will be a committee that will study all the dynamics of a wage increase, the percentages, the numbers, and the categories that will be affected. So by Tuesday, when we come back to reconvene and meet with the TUC again, the labor movement, we should have very concrete items to present to the world. But the most important thing for today is that we are making appreciable progress with the labor. Thank you very much.
What are the other demands beyond the minimum wage?
Sorry?
What other demands did they put on the table beyond the minimum wage, sir?
Oh, it's a list, but we are not going to be listing all of those things now. We are not going to. The most important is the minimum wage. That is increase of minimum wage, because when this thing is removed, the argument of labor is that there is an immediate impact on the workers, on the purchasing power, because price of fuel has gone up. So that would necessarily reduce the purchasing power of the average worker. So the next thing of immediate consequence is to increase the purchasing power of the worker. And so that, to me and to all of us on this side, is a topmost priority on the list. There are other things like the tax holidays, which will be some categories of workers will be beneficiaries, but those are all. The most important is the minimum wage.
NLC are not here, sir. Are you negotiating separately with them?
No, we are not, but we are making efforts to reach NLC. We all agreed that we were going to meet here, but again, in this game, there are dynamics. Sometimes they could be meeting with their own executive and not able to meet with us, or they could want to postpone, or they have not actually articulated their own list of demands as the TUC. But we cannot second guess why they're not here. But efforts are being made to reach them. We are not isolating them at all. They were invited.
To be set up?
Very, very soon. We are going to meet Mr. President now, and we are going to give him a feedback on this, and he's going to take an immediate decision. And like I said, Mr. President himself, you all reported him. He has said that there will be a review of the minimum wage. You all reported him. So we are not in disagreement. There is no disagreement at all with Labour on that particular issue.
The president's spokesman, Bayo Nanoja, accused the NLC of pandering to the wishes of Peter Obi. Did that one figure in your discussion?
No, not at all. It has no relevance to the discussion on the concrete terms of the welfare of workers. Our discussion was majorly on the welfare of workers, how to cushion the impact of this subsidy removal on workers. That's all, not on any political partisanship.
So that we can properly represent the government side, who should we say is leading the Congress in these negotiations?
Of course, you can see all of us here. You can see the GCEO of NNPC. You can see some of us who have been mandated by the president. And don't forget that a presidential system of government is executive in capacity. The president can appoint anybody. He can even appoint consultants to act on his behalf. So there is no issue about that. It is not actually germane.
Were you able to convince them to help in strike? What about? Did you discuss that?
Of course, we discussed that, and that's why we are still going to reconvene on Tuesday. And that's an appreciable progress.
Earlier, Labour said you must revert to status quo. Was there any attempt to touch on that?
Of course, we did. We touched on that, and everybody looked at the practicability of that, the viability or otherwise. Now, the issue is that we will close all of those ones on Tuesday when we reconvene. Concrete decisions will be taken about that, and then we'll reach logical conclusions. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen of the press, as you could recall that we were all here on Wednesday last week, and after the meeting of Wednesday, government gave us their position and told us the reason why they did what they did. So on our path, government told us the reasons why they did what they did, but on our path, we did not agree with them. So they presented some of the things to us that they consider as palliatives. That with those items that they presented to us, that we should consider them in the meeting. But we told them no, that we cannot consider them in that meeting, that we are going back to call our respective organs. So we went back, we called the neck of Trade Union Congress of Nigeria on Friday. And during the NEC meeting, the NEC of TUC decided that because we already told government as at Wednesday that we are taking their demand back, we want to go and look at them. Then, because they asked us what was our demand, we said we didn't have the mandate to discuss the demand as at then. So we went back, we called our meeting on Friday, we had extensive deliberation, and our NEC now mandated us with some list of demands to come and meet with the government side today. So the meeting we just concluded, we have detailed and marshaled out the list of our demands to them. So they also in turn told us that when they presented the items to us on Wednesday, we told them that we're going back to our principals. That they also need to touch base with Mr. President so that we will convey this meeting again on Tuesday. So and topmost in our demand was clearly stated as well that for utmost good faith and in the interest of social dialogue, that they should revert back the pump price while discussion continues.
All right. We realize NLC was not at that meeting. Are you editor from this NLC? Or are you aware why they're not here?
No, because when you call an organ meeting, an organ takes a life of its own. So the decision of your organ is what you are expected to implement. So all of us staying here today, we are agents of NEC of TUC. So the NEC of TUC took a decision, and that decision is what we are trying to push through.
Are you satisfied with discussions so far reached?
Yes. We have presented the list of our demands to them, and they received it in good faith that they will go back to their principal and come back to us on Tuesday. So we are hopeful that the demand that we have presented would it will be reviewed in the best interest of Nigerian workers and the entire Nigerian masses. Yes, the demands are so long, there are so many. There are so many. Part of it was the demand for a minimum wage. And we stated that for us, it is quite apt that the minimum wage today is not a living wage, as we all know. The value of the minimum wage since it was that negotiated has plummeted to a very abysmal level as it is today. So we demanded. Yes, because they are going back to Mr. President. So we also think that we should give them that benefit of doubt. Because the things we presented to them the last time, they did not also reveal it before the press. So it is also quite apt for them to go back. Maybe when we meet on Tuesday, we can dissect them one after the other and be much more specific. I think I've answered that question, that when you have NEC meetings, so the NEC take a decision that the leadership are bound to implement. So we were holding the meetings almost simultaneously. So the NEC of TUC gave us the mandate. That is why we are here today. If, for example, if it was just the leadership alone that comes together and have a conversation, maybe it will be a bit different. But because it was a NEC, it's an organ, one of the highest decision-making body outside the delegate conference of the center. So they took a decision, and that is what we are trying to see through.
Don't you think that some Nigerians think that TUC and NLC are no longer on the same page?
But is your function as press? Is your function as press to also help us educate Nigerians, to make them understand that when you call organ meetings, that the decision of the organ is what the leadership are bound to push through and to implement. Thank you.
Joe Ajero is president of Nigeria Labour Congress, the umbrella body of Nigerian workers. He joins us now to rub minds on the plight of his members, most of whom are already feeling the heat from President Tinubu's subsidy removal pronouncement. Good to have you on the program, NLC President Joe Ajero.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well, very quickly, you must have listened to Dr. Fawibe, who is an expert, oil and gas expert, more than 50 years experience, a major player in the industry. And he has provided us with a justification of subsidy removal, as government has also done. But NLC, which you lead, Nigeria Labour Congress, is saying it will shut down Nigeria on Wednesday. And government is saying, come to the negotiating table, let us talk. You had a meeting, it yielded nothing. You are supposed to meet again today. What is going on? What is your minimum demand? And are you making any progress in terms of dialogue with government?
Thank you very much.
I don't think we are making any progress so far because we are still at the same point. We have not gone beyond the point. That's where we are. The issue of alternative and subsidy are things we have discussed over the years, and our position were made clear. But government appears not to be interested in our position, and maybe they want to roll it over us. That's where we are.
Okay, but I understand that you were supposed to meet again today. What's the situation with that? And what are the issues? What are your proposals?
Well, of what use is today's meeting? By Tuesday night, I held a meeting with the TUC president, with Mr. President and his team. There and then, NNPC said they were going to bring out figures and prices. And on the spot, I told them, if you do that, we'll fight back. There's no basis for you to, to take that decision before discussion. And they went ahead and did that. We decided to boycott the meeting, but people still prevailed. And we attended the meeting and asked them to return to status quo to enable us discuss freely. And up to now, they have not done that. So what are we going there to do?
Well, but if you look at it, the Tinubu administration is saying that this new administration is presented with a fait accompli. There is no provision in the budget 2023 beyond May 29 for subsidy. There is a backlog, as NNPCL has pointed out, of about 2.3 trillion. Economists have said Nigeria is broke. We can't afford it. So the Tinubu administration will seem to have no other option to say, we can't pay, we won't pay. Dario Fo once wrote a book with that title. So if there's no money, why is Labour saying?
Yeah, what happens is that every government comes into office and they will learn even how to change a napkin. And then from there, they move from step to step. Now, I don't agree that there is no appropriation, beyond May. My understanding is that there is an appropriation up to the end of June, and thereabout, other things could follow. Now, if he's saying that there is, no appropriation for subsidy, then fine and good. We can take it from there, and we have to discuss it. No appropriation for subsidy doesn't mean that the NNPC, a private limited company, will now determine for us the price. If they say they have removed subsidy and it should be subject to market forces, then it shouldn't be for NNPC to dictate prices. They don't have such powers, and there's no provision that their board, as a limited liability company, ever met and took such resolution. Such dictates are not acceptable to the labor movement. I think we know beyond that. Now, he equally needs to tell us the subsidy they have paid, who and who were paid the subsidy, what and what did they use it for, and can we have the names of the people that collected the subsidy and the companies that collected it, and so that we can sit down. We have agreed on some alternatives before now. Why are those alternatives not working?
Well, President Ajero, the NNPCL Group Managing Director is on record as having said that, look, NNPC monopoly is not convenient for them. The government has said they will get the refineries to work. The government, being a continuum, has also said that with the advent of the Dangote refinery, 650,000 barrels of refined crude oil, over 34 million supply of fuel per day, would also ameliorate the system. And the market forces will change the price index over time, and that Nigerians just need to be patient. Why is Labour not persuaded by these factual arguments, as they put it?
Does market forces mean monopoly in a sector? How can there be market forces if Dangote is the only person producing? Are we not repeating a private sector monopoly, which is even worse than a public sector monopoly, which the NMPs have been maintaining? What is the situation in the cement industry and other areas? You know, why are the Port Harcourt refinery not working? Why is Warri refinery not working? Why is Kaduna refinery not working? Unless there are other players in the sector, we can't be talking of market forces. We can't be talking of competition in the sector. You can't have a single market participant in a sector, and we're talking of market forces. It doesn't go that way. Between now and December, if key is not taken, if it's only Dangote that is producing, a liter will be selling for over 1,000 naira per liter. So the argument doesn't make sense before us.
Okay, NLC President, you have already issued a statement under the auspices of the organized labor, NLC, but it doesn't look like there is unity even within organized labor. There are groups that are saying this is a good development and that they support it. So do you think that your strike, as proposed, will still go on with discordant voices within organized labor?
Well, there is no discordant voice within organized labor. If there is any, let me know. We have 36 state councils of the NLC. We have 54 affiliate unions that met on Friday, no dissenting voice, and we took a decision on this action. And every union has issued strike directives to their members, and the strike is on. For the newspapers that are saying there is a division, let them say where the division is having. The NLC does not operate northern branch, eastern branch, western branch. So where is the discordant voice coming from? Let them wait till Wednesday for them to know.
No, but the federal government is saying that, look, we don't need to have this crisis because adequate supply will be ensured. And if there is adequate supply, there will be differentiation in terms of, pump prices across the country. And that will just be a clear evidence of market forces determining. You buy where you can afford. And that this will check smuggling.
Well, until there is competition, sir, what they are saying doesn't work. Part of our agreement in 2021 is the issue of the compressed natural gas as an alternative. And that one, even the then Minister of State Petroleum, Silva, now say that it's going to cost 90 naira per liter. And everybody was impressed. The CBN was supposed to have, if not, they have not released 250 billion naira for conversion of vehicles and power stations. Ipman, the owners of these filling stations, have donated their filling stations for the conversion to take place. And as at now, over 10,000 cars were converted in Benin alone. And we're expecting them to do this conversion for us to have alternative. If you have alternative to PMS, now why are we talking of, the labor movement cannot tell you to remove or not remove subsidy. Then we have alternative. In a situation, in a sector, you have only one product and there's no alternative. And you are compelling everybody to buy at high rate. It doesn't make any sense and we will not succumb to it. So between now and the next 1 month or 2 months, if this government is serious, we can get conversion. And in your own car, you have provision, a time for CNG, you have a provision for PMS. Anyone you want to switch over to it. And this is common. What is difficult for it than forcing everybody to buy a dictated price?
Okay, President of NLC, Joe Ajaero, 2 quick things. Beyond all these issues, are you making any other efforts to engage with the government? Because there are many ways to engage to government, to reach out to government. And then I've also seen a story saying even the Nigerian Union of Journalists, your main original constituency before you joined Labour, is saying journalists, you down tools. Are you suggesting that I should not appear on the screen on Wednesday because that would be a tough deal. Because I will come here to talk and do my job. I hope you get what I mean.
Thank you very much, sir. If you watch, the journalists are worst hit, sir. That's your constituency, that's my constituency. They cover so many kilometers per day, whether with their own private vehicles or with public transport. You can hardly fill a tank now with about 40,000, 30,000. And this is biting on everybody. And like I said earlier, there can be abortion before pregnancy. If we are talking of cushioning effect, talking with government, how do we solve this problem? It can be after announcing price. And that was why in the discussion with NNPC, we say, let us talk first. And they say, no, we have to do this. And when they do it, they are telling us that the palliative they are providing, that they are going to provide 5,000 for 50 million Nigerians. And it's a one-off thing. So why are you going to give a Nigerian 5,000, that he will spend one night over in his I pass my neighbor? And the Bureau of Statistics have stated that over 133 million Nigerians are multidimensionally poor. And then you are talking of 50 million Nigerians. We are ready. There's hardly anybody I have not talked with, even the new chief of staff, even the new secretary to government, who have been talking. We have not closed any chances of talking. But you can't start a process before and you say whether we like it or not, we should fall in line. We are Nigerians as well, and this thing has nothing to do with even labor alone, because they were saying wage review. If I go wage review for less than 4 million Nigerians, what happened to almost 200 million Nigerians? How will they manage? Who will take care of them? How will they move about?
Bod TV Bod. In case the first time you come here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more uploads.